Hey guys, well, it is TFT here. We have got Matt on. So, good morning, Matt.
Morning.
Welcome
Got
to
your
the show.
delivery in.
Yeah,
We're all here to speculate about Sunday.
yeah. How do you feel? Yeah. How do you feel going into Sunday's game?
Well, it'll be slightly more interesting than usual, won't it? Because hopefully we'll see a few new faces. I gather a couple of them are out, and we won't see the Paraguayan guy this time. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm feeling. Well, personally, I'm a little bit disappointed. There hasn't been one more departure and perhaps a new arrival in the dugout myself. But putting that aside, yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm looking forward to getting back to the City ground anyway, and like I say, seeing a few new faces hopefully.
How did you feel about who can stay? Because I know it's been a bit unsure last 2 weeks what will happen, and Daniel Taylor's podcast in the week suggesting that he wants Steve Cooper. So, how do you feel about it?
Personally, he's done kind of nothing as far as I can tell since the first day he arrived. So, why prolong the agony? I mean, if he turns a corner and he starts, there's something perceptibly changed on Sunday, and then something, evolves from that. Fair enough, give him a bit more time. But so far, I've seen absolutely nothing. So I don't buy this kind of miraculous Clark Kent type transformation where he sort of comes out of the dugout for the second half and he's Superman and everything changes. I just haven't seen it happen at all. And you can just imagine it's going to be tight, boring, not many changes. It's going to be the same thing, I would think, against Cardiff. And unfortunately, it's a shame we're not playing someone a little bit different to Cardiff, because Cardiff is not the kind of team you'd probably, like to experiment against. It's going to be probably quite an ugly kind of game. And, it's going to be one of those, I think. So, I'm not looking forward to their visit particularly. It's not going to be a feast of entertaining football. I don't think a lot of sort of silky skills and stuff. It's all going to be sort of long balls into the box and big headers of the ball and stuff like that, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you're saying about like how we played against Derby first half to like second half, but like starting yards in a way.
Yes. Well, it was a lot better. Personally, I think my own theory is 50% of the problem is the selection of the midfield, and not to be unfair to any of them, it's getting the right blend, and we just have too many. We have all kind of negative, defensive, safe, solid players. Let's be kind to all of them equally, that can't create anything, and a couple of them, or one of them, is designated the guy to go and score goals and create things, and they're not up to it really. And to be fair, probably none of them would be. It doesn't matter if you're going to just try to make a combination out of the ones he picks, it's probably not going to work. So I think that's the problem. And even with Zink stuck in there, who's not a centre midfielder, it worked. He screwed things up, didn't he? They had chances, but we created some. So I'd rather win or lose rather than just perhaps draw, just play for the draw, which is his tactic, I think, more weeks than not. He'll probably be playing for a draw on Sunday, I should think.
Yeah. I mean, you touched on it then, mate. I mean, he changed it back because he started Garner Yates, but Singer brought Yates off and put Sink in there. It just completely changed the game, and against Derby, but you would like to see Sink and Garner playing there on Sunday.
Well, not really, because I don't think it's the answer long term, is it? I'm hoping this new guy, Jada, is going to be the future, but it's getting the blend of the whole team right. And I think his midfield from the start until today, he's basically got it wrong repeatedly. I would pick Colback as the one that can play defensively, but if you're not going to pick him, then you're going to pick Yates, or he seems to want Garner as a defensive one. And I mean, that's the unfortunate thing, because it would be nice if Garner was, I don't know, more of a box. Well, he could be a box-to-box one. He's not the most defensive, but he still seems he wants to play him as the defensive one, because his view is he's the best one. So he must be the defensive one. I'd rather he was the sort of in-between one, and you had, Carvalho or something being able to play in front of them. So It's about getting the whole team to gel, and I think he fatally destroys it by his insistence on picking negative midfielders, and especially trusting probably the least gifted of them to do creative things at the other end of the pitch. I wouldn't put, even though Colback would be the guy I'd pick, I wouldn't pick him to play in the final third much. It's not his job. It's not what he's good at. You might as well pick, Joe Wall to play in midfield. He's a good player, but play him in his right position. So I don't know. If he gets that, if he stumbles on the right blend in midfield, I think we'll find we've got a lot better team, a lot better squad than people seem to think. I mean, I went to that under-23s game in midweek, and it was chalk and cheese. We were creating chances left, right, and centre. It's like proper football. And Joe Lolly looked incredible. Okay, look, it's only under-23s, of course. It's not like, it doesn't mean Joe Lolly's king of the world again, but you've still got to play football, and quite decent player. I mean, I saw old Harry Arter a couple of weeks earlier, and you can look quite average playing for the under-23s. It's quite easy. He showed us that. So it doesn't prove anything great, but he was creating chances. He was moving a lot better. He looked like the old Joe Lolly that we haven't seen for 2 years or something. So again, I wouldn't necessarily pick him at the weekend, but it would have done him no harm scoring a couple of goals and playing well, same as it did for Carvalho. But you've got to get these people linked into the team so you can get the best out of them, not sort of prove how bad they are, which seems to be the obsession. I'd rather every player in the team be at their best. It doesn't matter which one's the best and which one's the worst. It doesn't matter as long as the team as a whole is performing, and it hasn't done, has it? Really, for forever and a day. So that's why I personally think Hewson has to go unless he's going to do something that's tangible.
Yeah, completely. I remember when O'Neill did it with Colback, and it was that time when you played Colback left back, and then you played Robert on 12, and it was like.
But you never get. But the thing I think is unfair in a way, like I say, I feel like the whole team virtually is playing at a disadvantage because the manager's tactics and his selection. When you pick the likes of Colback to play left back, people bitch about it. It's like, well, it's not his position. And you pick Jakob to play centre half a few games when you got no, and then he's never forgiven for doing that. He got sent off or gives away. It's like, well, he's not. You've got to give him a free pass completely, in my opinion. And it's almost like you've got to give the players a free pass for the last year, because if you play so negatively and you pick a midfield that cannot create a thing. It's hard to be critical of people like Grabban. We all know Grabban hasn't played as well as he did a couple of years ago since lockdown started. He has had chances, but they're so few and far between. The pressure must be immense. He knows if he scores it, we're going to be okay. We're probably going to get a draw, whatever it is, maybe win if we're lucky. But he's only going to get 2 chances a game maximum, isn't he, really? So it's hard to be critical of any of these guys.
Very much so. I mean, they all say that partly tactics is part of the game and the managers. So I do completely agree with that one, to be fair.
Well, they shot out the that Clough quote about players win your games, not tactics. Yeah. I think people totally misread that. And the whole point is, he says, pick the right players and they should be able to go and play football, which I think is completely right. If you pick leaders and you pick good footballers, basically, and pick the right players they should be able to figure it out for themselves. And but everyone reads it like tactics don't matter. It's not that at all. You can get. He's completely right. I think tactics won't ever win you a game if you don't have the right players. There was an event last week with Charlie McParland and Paul Hart, and they were very negative about Forest at the moment. They were like, not in both cases, but they were like, they could get relegated. We're really in trouble here, and it's horrible, and we can't believe it, and this and that. It's all wrong. I've never seen anything like it, kind of thing. And I asked them, what's the secret to football, in your opinion? And I thought they'd say man management. They said, well, first thing they said was good players and luck. But in the end, they came around to, man management is probably, you can't kind of create luck, and you can't necessarily create good players. You can try and sign them. But when you've got your players, how you manage them is the main thing. And I don't know. I don't think there's a lot of love in the room, in the Forest changing room, between the manager and the players. because I feel like they all feel like we're being presented in a bad light because of what you're doing, you know, the tactics and the team selections, and they're all trying their hardest, but it's hard, isn't it? You know, I think they're struggling, you know, and it's obvious. We see it every week. There's no one, but then you see Lolly in the under-23s. Again, it's only the under-23, but he's enjoying his football. He's scoring goals. And the whole team, the way they played was just. It was enjoyable. I'm sure they all had a great time playing in that game of football. It doesn't matter what level it is, the World Cup final, under 23s, under 16s, whatever it is. They played a great game of football. It was entertaining, fun to play in, and they play it every day of the week, and they play better and better that way.
Yeah, completely agree with that one. Going into Sunday, I mean, there've been quite a bit of, not a talk, but people I've been talking to, they've been saying about it could be won on set pieces, so chances on Sunday. Cardiff are quite good at set pieces.
Long throw-ins, bouncing in the box and stuff, like hand grenades and things like that. And referees' decisions and things like that. You know, pushes and fouls and all that. It's going to be an ugly game, isn't it? Like I said, I don't think you're going to see a free-flowing game. And we're going to be just as much to blame, if not more to blame for that, probably than Cardiff, which is tragic to say, but probably, you know, in the history of football, it should be Forest trying to play football and Cardiff, the ugly team, trying to stop you. But I'm not expecting like the under-23s 20 chances and 5-6 goals and everything like that. So I don't know. As far as the prediction goes, I would bet money on a draw, I suppose, either 0-0 or 1-1. I don't know about you, but I can't see there being many goals. I can't see much different. Like you say, a lot of set pieces. We typically only score from set pieces or luck, you know, deflections or worldies sort of thing. So we don't tend to score many sort of regular passing goals, 3 or 4 passes, someone goes through and slots it in. So, yeah. I would concur, basically. In short, I think that, you know, expect the worst and hope to be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, completely agree. I've been saying you probably see 1 goal in it, probably 2. But we have that closest game to be on today. It's for the neutral and be like
switch over.
Yeah.
No, we're going to have to start cheering all the corners because, it probably is going to be set pieces and things. You know, I don't know. Like I say, I predict he'll probably predict the same old team. Who is likely to play, I wonder? Maybe the thing I'm sad about is we bought so many right backs because we're not going to see Neil back, are we, now? And that was one of the big positives. And equally, I don't think we're going to see much of Fauna now. Because, you know, he's going to have that weird existence on the fringe of the bench and under 23s, which could be kind of soul destroying. But back, I would have liked to have been the proper backup guy. I'm not necessarily the first pick, but we went out and bought 3 or 4 of the blinking people, didn't we? And the centre half to you know, for good luck. And there's also Jaden Richardson, don't forget, who's also a decent prospect.
Yeah. He seems to be one to be like the left back cover at the minute for some reason. It's understanding right there, but yeah, he seems to be the left back cover, whereas Spence can play right mid as well, so it's one of them.
Why are we always trying to play people out of position though? Yeah. You know, we've had people that are left backs, we've had 2 or 3 kind of pretty good ones that most fans would have kept, whether it's Ribeiro, Ianu, or whoever it is. You know, there's a few who've been pretty decent and we haven't picked him, and we've got an England right back that we wouldn't pick in a month of Sundays on top of all these ones, plus a very promising one. Back I like because he reminds me a bit of Matty Cash because he's physically, it's a small little bloke by comparison, but he's not a great defender. You know, he kind of he gets beaten a few times, but you've got to beat him 3 times to get past him, which is brilliant. You know, and during the week, he actually made a goal. He dived into a tackle in the final third, fed it out to the wing. I can't remember who it was, but they crossed it in and we scored a goal from it. And, you know, that's the kind of bonus you'll get. And I think, I don't know about the new guys, of course, but a lot of our fullbacks are better attacking. Like Ribeiro, I felt was a lot better when he played in a successful team going forward. Defending wasn't his thing. But as a unit, they worked. The whole balance is wrong. If we were on the front foot a bit more, the fullbacks would look better. Same applied to Christie. The centre halves are good enough, whoever they are. The goalkeeper's decent, whoever he is. And but you know, if you play negatively, you defend. They're not at their best. But yeah, anyway, I'm disappointed that we're not going to see a lot of back this year, because I think that would have been a big plus, as it was with Cash. I think he could have gone from being a promising player to an established player and a real asset for the club, and then hopefully someone who'd play for us for years to come. But now next year we'll be saying, oh, I hope back gets given a go, when we still haven't solved our right back problem, and we're hoping he's the solution to it. Probably, all things being equal, because all these guys are going to go off, aren't they?
Yeah, completely agree with you. Who do you think will score on Sunday, if there was?
Who do I think will score? I don't know. Them for sure, and then for us, I don't know really. Well, that's the other thing up front. You know, it looks like he's probably going to stick with Grabban. Taylor isn't exactly flavour of the month. He's kind of played reasonably well. He's shown a little bit this season compared to last. Who's going to score? Let's say Grabban. Let's give the old guy a bit of support and hope he plays and scores. He's the kind of guy that probably will. But you know. So let's see. I don't know. It'll probably be the same old team, and he'll get 2 chances, and let's just hope he sticks one of them in.
Yeah. So that's it. Thank you Matt for coming on.
Well, thanks very much, Dan, for inviting me.
So that's it. Thank you, guys, and goodbye.